The year is 885 AD. Autumn's gold leaves blanket the Seine Valley, but a darker storm approaches. The great heathen army, over 30,000 Vikings in 700 longships, sails up the river, their dragon-proud ships a terrifying sight. News of their coming spreads panic. Villagers flee, monasteries empty, and the cry, "The Northmen are coming!" echoes along the riverbanks. This is no mere raid. The Vikings want Paris, the heart of West Francia. Their leaders, Siegfried and Rollo, demand passage. But inside Paris, Count Odo and Bishop Goslin refuse. The city, perched on the Ile de la Cité, braces for siege. The Vikings expect an easy conquest, but the defenders are resolute. The stage is set for one of history's most epic sieges. The river fills with the rhythmic beat of oars and the glint of shields. The Franks know the Viking reputation: plunder, fire, and ruin. But this time, Paris will not yield. The city's fate, and the fate of the kingdom, hangs in the balance. The Vikings encircle the island, confident in their numbers, but the defenders are ready to defy the storm. The Vikings' greatest weapon, the river, becomes their prison. Paris sits on an island protected by 2 fortified bridges, each anchored by massive stone towers. The Grand Pont and Petit Pont are not just crossings. They are fortresses bristling with archers and soldiers. To reach the city, the Vikings must break these stone sentinels. Their first assault is brutal. Ladders, rams, and siege engines batter the northern tower. But Count Odo's defenders rain arrows, stones, and boiling oil from above. The Vikings, masters of swift raids, are stymied by vertical warfare and unyielding walls. Their numbers count for little on the narrow bridges. The city's design turns the invaders' strength into weakness. The Vikings are forced into a grinding siege for which they are unprepared. Paris, with its stone towers and determined defenders, has turned the tables. The mighty Viking army is now fighting on the defenders' terms. The failed assaults give way to a bitter stalemate as winter descends. The Vikings, camped in the open, shiver in the cold, their morale eroding with each freezing night. Inside Paris, defenders endure hunger and fear, but they have shelter and hope. Every day the city holds is a victory. Every day the Vikings wait, their spirits sink. The siege becomes psychological warfare, endurance versus frustration. The river ices over, the ground hardens, and the Vikings' famed discipline begins to crack. The Parisians, united by purpose and leadership, draw strength from their suffering. The Vikings, denied glory and plunder, grow restless and divided. The city's walls are not just stone, they are symbols of defiance. The Vikings are trapped by their own expectations and the relentless winter. The defenders' patience becomes their greatest weapon. The siege is now a test of willpower, and the invaders are faltering. Paris endures, while the besiegers' resolve withers in the cold. Survival hinges on preparation and unity. Paris, though outnumbered, is organized, food is rationed, water is clean, and leadership is visible. Count Odo inspires his men, sharing their risks and hope. The defenders' suffering is purposeful. Every hardship strengthens their resolve. The Vikings, used to living off the land, find themselves trapped and hungry. Foraging grows dangerous and fruitless. Their numbers become a liability. Viking chieftains bicker, unity dissolves, and their coalition fractures. The defenders are a single body with a single will. The Vikings are a collection of hungry, frustrated warbands. The city's structure and spirit hold firm. The besiegers' lack of preparation and leadership is their undoing. Paris survives because it is prepared. The Vikings falter because they are not. Winter's true enemies are hunger and disease. The Vikings' food runs out, foraging fails, warriors grow gaunt, desperate and weak. Disease sweeps the camp, dysentery, typhoid, pneumonia spreading through filthy, crowded tents. There is no glory in dying of fever and starvation. Morale collapses as bodies pile up. The promise of plunder replaced by despair. Inside Paris, conditions are harsh but manageable. Cleaner water, better shelter, and smaller numbers slow the spread of sickness. The defenders' suffering has meaning. Every day survived is a victory. For the Vikings, every day is a reminder of defeat. Attrition is not equal. The attackers are dying faster than the defenders. The siege's balance tips as the invaders waste away. The once mighty army is now a shadow, undone by hunger and disease. The city's endurance is rewarded. The besieger's strength bleeds away. The outcome is becoming inevitable. In February, a sudden thaw shatters the frozen Seine, destroying the Petit Pont and isolating the southern tower. The Vikings seize the chance, overwhelming the tiny garrison after a desperate last stand. But the victory is hollow. The city itself remains secure. The defenders regroup, fortifying the island's southern bank. The Vikings' hope for a breakthrough vanishes. Starved, sick, and demoralized, the invaders reach their breaking point. When King Charles the Fat arrives, he chooses negotiation over battle. The Vikings are paid to leave 700 livres of silver for their withdrawal. For Paris, it's a bitter end to a heroic defense. For the Vikings, it's humiliation, paid off as a nuisance, not as conquerors. They sail away not in triumph, but in disgrace. The siege is over, the city stands. The dragon ships retreat, defeated by stone, steel, and endurance. Paris has survived the storm. The Siege of Paris is a masterclass in survival. Timeless lessons for bushcraft and beyond. First, choose your ground wisely. The Parisians' island fortress turn the river from a highway into a moat. Second, preparation is everything. Stockpiled food, strong walls, and civil defense made survival possible. The Vikings, unprepared for a long siege, paid the price. Endurance, mental and physical, proved decisive. Count Odo's leadership kept hope alive. The defenders conserved energy, rationed supplies, and let their fortifications do the work. The Vikings wasted strength in futile assaults and suffered for lack of planning. In survival, work smart, not hard. Use your environment, manage resources, and adapt. The siege shows that resilience and preparation can overcome brute force. The lessons of Paris echo in every survival story. Adapt, endure, and never underestimate the power of a well-chosen refuge. The Vikings failed to adapt. The defenders thrived by doing so. In the end, survival favored the prepared. The Vikings' retreat from Paris signals the end of an era. The myth of Viking invincibility is shattered. Stone fortifications have proven their worth. Across Europe, rulers invest in castles, fortified towns, and strong bridges. Large-scale raiding becomes harder, forcing Vikings to settle or adapt. Warfare is changing. Defense and endurance now matter as much as aggression. The siege shapes the future of France. Count Odo, hero of Paris, is chosen as king for his courage, not his bloodline. The defense of Paris becomes a founding legend, uniting the Franks. The city's stand inspires a new sense of identity and pride. The age of the castle and the knight begins, built on the lessons of Paris. The siege is a turning point. Preparation and resilience triumph over brute force. The dragon ships met their match not in open battle, but in the stubborn will of a well-defended city. The story of Paris endures, a testament to the power of endurance and unity. The storm has passed, but its lessons remain.